what are the 6 skills that are needed to become a product manager? Then hi, welcome to my channel. I'm on a chai break, and whenever I'm on a chai break, I'm shooting really cool videos for all of you, as I've spent last 10 years working in consulting and strategy. And on my channel, I talk about all things management consulting, all things careers, and all things MBA. So feel free to hit on the subscribe and the notification button so that you are notified whenever I'm putting out content for all of you. And of course, of late it's been pretty daily.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
So very excited to now talk about this video. So almost a month ago, I had made a comparison video between the careers in management consulting and product management. I will put a screenshot somewhere here, so if you want, feel free to check that out. And a lot of you had actually commented that you want to delve deeper into the product management video especially. And for context, if you are new here on my channel or you didn't get a chance to watch that video, I have done product management twice and I have been able to crack product management interviews with the leading unicorns. Of course, in terms of experience, I did product management very briefly in Groupon India. And then of course, as a co-CEO today, I lead the product division where I'm largely responsible for building non-tech and tech products, both of them. And of course, we seem to have a good product market fit. And in terms of the interviews, I was able to crack a product manager interview in a leading unicorn in this country after my BCG, after I decided to leave BCG, but then it's another ball game altogether. I decided to not take up any of the job offers that were coming my way back then. And if you're interested for me to make separate video on deep dive topics, for example, I'm going to make a separate video around finance. If it's already out, we will put up a screenshot here. And if you need for me to make separate videos around careers in public policy, careers in social impact, what are the skills, please let me know about them in the comment section. And if there are ample number of you talking about similar sectors, I will be more than happy to consider making a video. So all right, let's directly jump into the 6 skills or the traits that are of a successful product manager, because of which you can make a career in product management. And stay tuned till the end if you also want to know about the salaries of product manager in India. So first and foremost, when you talk of product manager, we need to understand there's a reason they are called mini CEOs, largely because they get a very good big picture view or a bird's eye view. And that is one of the primary reasons that, for example, management consultants are a very hot property or make a good exit into product manager role as well, because largely when you work as a consultant, you get a very good bird's eye view, or you develop that mindset in terms of how do you analyze a problem at a 360-degree level. And in this video, when I talk about the first skill, it has to be design thinking. I know and I'm aware that a lot of people talk about design thinking. It has become this buzzword, but at the heart of it, what is really design thinking? Design thinking basically is first principles thinking, which is that you do not benchmark the solution. You have a problem, you go to a consumer problem is at the heart of everything, and then keeping the consumer at the center of everything, not the organizational P&L, not the egos of leadership in the organization, not anything else, not even the shareholders, right? You keep the consumer at the heart of the problem, and then you build products around it. So that's largely around design thinking. And if I were to give few examples to you, let's for example first talk about building a funnel. I have a friend, she's been working in a leading e-commerce in India after her ISB MBA, and they were actually solving for a funnel, right? As the funnel shape is, right, if you were, let me actually walk you through a consumer journey on e-commerce website. When you land on the website, that's step number 1. Step number 2 is you're exploring some certain category. It could be retail, it could be electronics, it could be hardware, right? And then step number 3 is you're on a particular product. Step number 4 is you're adding that product on the cart, and step number 5 is you are now trying to purchase it. Now each of these 5 steps, there could be drop-offs that can happen, and leading product managers in e-commerce try to understand the root cause behind those drop-offs and try to build in features through which they can solve for those drop-offs as well. Now there's a very interesting view towards this entire thing. And that's my personal view, and I have heard that from the leaders of top organization as they have taught at my education venture. we are living in a generation where we are getting consumed by Instagram and TikToks of the world, right? And more features are being built on these products so that more and more people are hooked on them, they are spending their time on it and whatnot. But a lot of leading organizations are now questioning the ethicality of it or morality of it, right? That, hey, is this the kind of product do we want our next generation to have, or is this the kind of product that we should leave for our future generations? And a lot of leading organizations do check for that implicitly or through certain subtle questions in your interviews. So you need to be mindful what kind of features or what kind of talks do you end up happening in the name of solving a problem of a consumer. Which brings me towards, for example, another example, sorry, my bad. Another example that we can take of design thinking, search. Search is a classic product tool, or rather I would say the dream product that a product manager wants to build, largely because it's very technically complex. Think of search on Amazon, if not on Google. Think of all the permutation combinations that can come your way. There could be so many typos that can exist. There can be so many permutation combination of writing just pants, women pants without pockets, women pants with pockets and whatnot. And not just that, think of the solutions or the answers that will come after the search has taken place, right? So many combination of products could come in if you're visualizing what product is, what is the user really trying to figure out. And then you have to rank order them in a certain manner so that it is useful for the consumer, not just useful for a lot of retailers, right? So that is design thinking. These are the interesting projects that are solved. If I were to give you another example, I am a huge believer of giving examples that help other person visualize and allow them to think what kind of problems they would be solving. So for example, at my education venture, I'm very well aware that getting access to a mentor is a very rare privileged resource from consulting, McKinsey, BCG and Bain. And we built an artificial intelligence tool, it's called Schrodinger. And through Schrodinger, at your own time, at your own pace, at 12 in the midnight or at 4 a.m. in the morning, you could do case solving or case interview preparation with a live feedback. And that is the machine that we have built, and it's huge success within the beneficiaries or within GGINs at my education venture. So that is what design thinking is, putting consumer at the heart of the problem and then figuring out solutions. Which brings me towards the second skill, which is flowing from point number one, which is largely around innovation. Product managers are not just creating copy-pasted features or just copy-pasting solutions. Many do that, but the top product managers are always trying to innovate, and innovation automatically happens when you do a lot of first principle thinking. Of course, within the realm of innovation, you are being little practical about the execution as well, right? You may want to have certain features that are practical within the short term and could be dreamy within the long term as well. But you almost always try to create a dream product or something that the world has never ever seen before. At least that should be your step number one. If you will ever want to be a product manager and your day one will be starting from the point that, hey, let me copy paste someone's solution, I don't really think then you are, sorry to say, you're bound to be a product manager. That anyone can do. Product manager require a lot of thinking, a lot of innovation and a lot of creative designing as well, right? By creative design, I don't mean UI, UX. I mean that you need to have that appetite for innovation. Which brings us towards the third skill, which is largely around, I would say, ruthless prioritization. As a product manager, you will be talking to your coders, to your consumers, to the business head, to the other partner staff of the organization. Everyone will have conflicting opinions and conflicting priorities. And when everyone has conflicting priorities and the time is limited in your hand and you have limited features that you can deliver within the tech staff you have, that means that as the product owner who is having his or her fiduciary duty to make sure that the consumer's benefit is at the best interest, then you make sure that you prioritize ruthlessly in terms of timeline, in terms of resources, in terms of the features. And that prioritization, if you are someone who wants to do 100 things at one point of time, then it may be little tricky, right? If you are someone who's very good with prioritization, if you know that you have to do 100 things, but you know that I can't do all 100 things in the month of July, which is when I'm shooting this video, right? I will have to stack things for later on. Then management role can definitely be for you. Which brings us towards the fourth skill, which is again my favorite, which is largely around leadership. And mind you, these traits are not just theoretical traits. Whatever will be asked to you in the interview for a product manager in some shape or format, at the back of the interviewer's mind, they will want to be understanding that is this person ready or not ready with respect to the product management mindset. But coming back to the fourth skill, which is largely around leadership. Leadership is basically two things, I would say, 4A and 4B. Your ability to take decisions and your ability to say no. Once again, I bring back the point around morality and ethicality. Your ability to say that, hey, this is what I stand for, and of course you do that smartly and not just burning bridges, that I am saying no because this is not at the heart of consumers' interest. That is what I signed up for when everyone is just looking for their own incentives. In economics, you learn about the power of incentives and how misaligned incentives can lead to a disaster. A product manager played a very pivotal role in terms of making sure that the consumer's interest is at the heart of innovation, is at the heart of design thinking, and is at the heart of adding features to the product. Which brings me towards 4B point, which is largely around saying no, which is in some shape or format related to 4A as well. There will be times, in fact not just will be, most of the times you are saying no to a lot of features because you have a certain vision. If you will just try to add a lot of features, right, then it might just become messy. In product management, it is actually fine that your product solves one problem but solves it beautifully well. There should be ideally no other product on this planet which solves that particular problem as good as you do, right? Rather than adding 10 features and try to solve 10 problems mediocrely, you try to solve one problem and you solve that really beautifully well. Which brings us towards the fifth point in the skills that are needed for product management, which is communication. And a lot of these skills, if you would notice, are interlinked, right? From leadership to prioritizing ruthlessly, design thinking to, of course, now communication. Because you're dealing with a lot of stakeholders. And even the product management is not really an external role that you're dealing with clients. You're dealing with your organization's employees. And if you do not know how to articulate your thoughts well, if you do not know how to write emails well, then it is going to be a really big problem because you might want to say X and the other person is understanding Y and he or she is then executing that stuff. So then communication becomes really important, that do you know what do you want to say and can you put that into words, both in writing and both verbally as well. So that is the fifth hack. The sixth secret, which is again my favorite and in fact this is very important from interview standpoint as well, that, wait a second, I need to grab my chai. Too much speaking, my mouth was drying up, so chai it should have been water, but anyhow, coming back, which is around measurability. When you start a product, right, keeping everything aside, the features, the impact, the stakeholder management, you would have started with a reason, right? And you monitor that outcome, not just output. For example, at my education venture in education one-on-one, there is a KPI, it's called learning outcomes. So what we do is after 6 months of the graduation of every person, we check with them that, hey, were you looking for a job? If you were looking for a job, were you able to pivot into a dream sector? If yes, what that organization is, etc., etc. And then we eventually are currently standing at a number of 88%. But coming back, you always have that mindset that you need to monitor the outcome. And the reason I say so is because KPI, key performance indicator, is a very popular question that is very often asked in product management interviews. Now, talking of measurability, I want to share one more secret. Pricing questions are also very often asked. Pricing, I know, is not directly related to outcome or KPI, but I still wanted to share that so that all of you get to learn. I have a dear friend, she's working in PayPal in San Francisco. She's a graduate from Harvard Business School. and in her interview she was actually given a pricing case. So to synthesize, we are basically saying for you to crack into product management, you need to have fantastic design thinking, you need to have a capability to innovate, you need to be a ruthless prioritizer, you need to have leadership qualities, you need to have fantastic communication, and last but not the least, you need to have measurability and mathematical skills as well. With that, if you need more help to become a product manager, feel free to check out Impact Fellowship Program at My Education Venture Global Governance Initiative.org. With that, please take care, smile a lot, and just spread a lot of smile and happiness in this world. I'll see you very much soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.